Processing clean meat from a roadkill is easy, but in this video we're going to show you how to process the gut-spilled or the bloodshot meat, the stuff that any self-respecting hunter would throw away. But if you're picking up roadkill, a lot of times you're not getting just clean meat. In fact, sometimes you get mostly bloodshot or gut-spilled meat. So what do you do with that? We'll figure that out.
Alright, one of the most important parts of processing meat, especially if you've got a lot, is make sure you can con someone else into helping you. Especially if your meat looks like this. If it's gnarly and bloodshot, like we're not talking about a little bloodshot. This is stuff that any self-respecting hunter is going to throw away. So what you do then is you've got a same theory as a little bloodshot. You have to increase the surface area. You increase the surface area, then you're going to find that you can brine it in that baking soda and salt brine, and it'll get rid of that stuff a lot faster. How do you increase the surface area of meat the most possible? You run it through the grinder. I like to cut them into these nice long thin pieces so they fly a little bit better through, and then they'll less likely to gum your grinder up. Of course, cut as much of the silver skin off as you can, and once you grind it, you have these nice big buckets of ground meat, and you can soak it in a brine. Of course, try to grade your meat. So my first bucket here is we've got the good meat, and then we've got the fawn. This is 2 fawns worth of meat right there, not excluding the back straps, which are used for steak. And then that bucket over there is the
shit bucket.
Yeah, that's the one that meat that smells like poop.
Ah! You don't want the shit bucket meat.
It really does smell terrible.
It really does smell like poop. It's gross, but we're going to brine it for 3 days, change the water, lots of baking soda and salt, strain it real good, rinse it with fresh water, and it's going to taste great. Just to give you some perspective on how much baking soda and salt, it's probably 3/4 salt, 1/4 baking soda in the buckets. There's your fawn. Do some steaks there. There's our good meat. There's some more good meat. And then that, yep, you guessed it, the shit bucket. Now, after you've soaked your meat overnight in a strong brine, and then you've rinsed it probably, I don't know, 5, 6, maybe 10 times, you'll eventually get that clear water that you do when you're brining the steaks, like is pictured here. The difference is you'll realize is that it is way, way more effort. It's a horrible, nasty, gooey, gross mess all over everything. And so if it's at all possible to slice a steak and then brine and then grind, that's really the way to do it. If you've got really gnarly meat you want to clean up, then the grind and then brine works well. Of course, make sure to finish it off in a tasty marinade and you'll be all set.
You might be curious if the baking soda and salt brine was actually able to remove the bad taste from the shit bucket meat. Well, the shit bucket meat came from a deer whose digestive enzymes had completely covered the entire inside of its body, soaking through all of the meat, even the backstrap. In fact, the digestive juices had dissolved the layer of fascia between the skin and the backstrap and made it so you could just lift the skin off the deer. It was literally the grossest roadkill deer that I have ever processed in my life. And interestingly, the shit bucket meat did taste acceptable. If we were in a starvation situation, we totally would have eaten it. But there was still a faint taste, even after 30 or so rinses in a strong baking soda brine, that we could not get rid of. And so we ended up just cooking it up and feeding it to the dogs, made good dog food. But the other meat, which was slightly gut-spilled or had a lot of bloodshot, that meat turned out excellent and made for a very delicious potluck dinner. So,
Matt, you did such a good job helping us the other day. I made you a special burger tonight.
Hey, thanks. Wait, is this from the shit bucket?
It's going to go in the barbecue.
Do you soak it in
I
fresh
believe it.
water?
Yeah, at the very end. So you do salt water, baking soda first.
Together?
Yeah, together. And then you do salt water. And then you do salt water again. And then you do fresh water. That gets rid of your salt.
What, like a couple hours?
No, like a day.
Okay.
This is like a 4-day process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a recipe I know for tongue, where you take the tongue and you soak it in a salty sugar brine for a week.
Ooh.
In like your garage.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, and then you boil it in fresh water. You drain it all. Boil it in fresh water.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and then you can peel off the skin and it tastes like pastrami.
Nice. Yeah, I never have eaten a roadkill deer tongue because they're always covered in like vomit. It's kind of gross. All
Gotta
right,
draw the
Yeah.
line somewhere.
Gotta draw the line.
And mine is
Hopefully I
that
can
deer
edit this
vomit.
video.
My line is right there. But shit bucket, we'll eat that all day.
After it's been bred.